Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to a new tutorial. It's me IG and I'm back with a tutorial. Guys, today I want us to DIY a reversible underbust corset. Yes, that is what I want us to DIY. It's so simple to achieve. So I'm going beautiful leftover materials to achieve this project. So now guys, let's get started. Guys, on my last video I posted tutorial on how to achieve a corset, how to draft it from the beginning to the end. I'm going to link it on the description box below for you guys to check it out. We are going to use that pattern that we drafted to achieve this underbust corset. Now this is our corset that we drafted on the last video. So we are going to make use of this to achieve our underbust corset. This is the corset of the back, this is the center back, and this is the side back. So we're only going to make use of the side back. These two, we don't need it. So we are going to put it aside. And on the front part, we don't need this. We don't also need the cup. What we need is the center and the side. So this is what we are going to use now to achieve our underbust corset. So now we are going to do something. I want this underbust corset to be of one piece. I don't want to cut it in two. If you want to cut it in two, you cut this and you join it. No, I want to cut it as one piece. So I'm going to now tape these two together. So now I have taped it together. I want to cut it as one. I don't want to cut it as two. So let's trim it off. So now guys, this is it. So I'm going to now cut it out as one. I don't want to add too much allowance to it. So now on this waist, let's take our measurement. This is our 8.5 inch here. Remember, we are cutting it as a piece, so we are not going to add too much allowance. So this is the 8.5 as my allowance, and I'm going to add only but 1.5 inch allowance, or you can add 1 inch allowance. And this is the chest, and here is 9.5, and I'm going to add also 1.5 inch allowance. So now I'm going to mark it together. Take it again. So I'm going to join these two together now. Do you see it? So I'm going to cut this off. So now I'm going to take it to my material. This I'm going to cut here off. So these two now I'm going to use it to cut out my material. And after cutting out the material, I'm going to add a gum stay to it. Then I'll show to you guys how we are going to join it together. Now guys, I have cut out our material. This is the center part. Do you see it? This is the front panel, and this is the other side of it. Remember, we're making a reversible underbust corset, so I'm using two different materials which I showed to you guys earlier. So I have cut out the front panel. So one, look at it, do you see it? And also this is the back panel, but I want it to be a little bit of curve by the side, so I'm going to place it back now. I don't want it to be like this. I want it to be a little bit curvy at the side. So I'm going to come up by 1 inch from this down. From the waist, I'm going to go up by 1 inch, and I'll connect it to the main body because I want it to be a little bit curvy. If you want, you can leave yours in this form, but I want it to be a little bit curvy. So that is why I'm doing this. I want it to be curvy. Do you see it? So I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to also place it on this and do the same. So I'm going to also cut it out on this other side. You see it now. And also on the back, I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to place it to cut out, to make it look the same with the front. So this is the other one, and I'm going to take this, then I put them together. Do you see it? I put them together, and I also go up by 1 inch, and I also connect it. You see it? I'll check it's okay, then I'll cut it, because I want it to be curvy at the side. I don't want it to be so straight. So this is it. So do you see it, guys? So I have also added facing to it. I have also added facing to both. So the next thing I will do now is just to use my bias to make casing, because I want to add boning to it. So I'll use my bias. This is my bias. I'll use it to make casing. We all know how to do that, I believe. Just place it, and on this front, this center, I'm going to cut it out by 1 inch. I'm going to go down. I don't want it to be so long like this, so I'm going to trim it. I'm going to reduce it. So I'm going to reduce it by 1 inch. So I'm going to reduce it by 1 inch. I don't want it to be too long like this. So I've reduced it by 1 inch. Do you see it? So the next thing to do, like I said, is to take my bias. I'll take my bias now to run. Do you see it? Design it any way you want. If you want it to be curvy, you can do that. If you want it to be curvy, if you want it to be straight, any way you want it, you design it. So this is the bias. So I'm going to use it now to design it, and also do that of the back. Also design the back, and I'll bring it back for us. Now guys, do you see I have now used my casing on the panels? Do you see it? I've added my casing on the panels. So the next thing I have to do you see both front and back? I've added the casing on it. So the next thing I have to do is to use one to turn the other. Do you see it? I'm going to place it in this form, then I'm going to sew it. I'm going to sew it together. Do you see it? I'm going to sew it, after which I will turn it. When I now turn it, after sewing it, when I now turn it, I'm going to now top stitch the under bust. Now join the front and the back together for us to close it up and insert our loop at the back. Guys, I've turned it, I've joined them together and used one to turn the other. Do you see it? And also insert our boning. So the next thing now to do is to take it together to measure where I'm going to insert my bias that I'm going to use for my loop. I would have used eyelet, but because it's a double-sided, it's not going to be nice. So I'm going to use bias. So I'm going to use my marker to mark it. So I'm going to measure. Here is 1. I'm going to here, then 1.5, then 3, then 4.5, and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to have 5 loop at the back. So I'm going to do it also on the other side. I'm going to put it to mark it on the other side. Do you see it? So that is the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to cut 3 inches. I'm going to cut in 3 inches. So I need 10 of it. So I'm going to insert it. So what I'll do, I'll turn it over like this. On one side, I will insert it, and on the other side, I'm going to leave it open because I'm going to also close the down. So from the other side, I'm going to turn it around, and after that, I will now fold it in this form. Just fold it after turning it, and fold it again, and insert the loop of the other one and stitch on it. Then I'll show to you guys how it looks. Now guys, do you see our under Borst Corset belt? Do you see how it is? Do you see it, guys? So I've added the loop. Do you see it at the back? And also, because of the boning. It's not easy to turn from this side, so I decided to close the two sides. That is to add the loop at the two sides. Do you see it? And on the waist, I decided to fold in 1/2 inch and iron it down. Do you see it? I folded in 1/2 inch on both sides and I give it a good press. I'm going to just run it, stitch it to close it up. So now guys, do you see our belt is ready? Our under corset, under bust corset, reversible under bust corset. Do you see it? You can wear it on this side or you can wear it on this side. So now I'm going to put it on the mannequin for us to see the final. Now guys, this is the final look of our under bust corset or under bust belt, anyone you can call it. Do you see how it is? And that's the back. This is the back. Do you see it? So lovely. You can remember it's reversible. You can use this side or you can use the other side of it. So any one of it is your choice. If this tutorial has been helpful, don't forget to like, share, and comment on my videos. And if you have not subscribed, consider subscribing. Love you guys and see you in my next video for now.